Hello peeps, it's the Hillbilly Halfwit. How are you all today? And just on cue when our lambs made a thing before. So we're a bit better. We got on schedule here. We got things sorted up. We got some of these old joes and a bucket in there so the lambs can eat off, drink off the bucket. So after my stress the other day, we're sorted. Putting some straw down, but what I wanted to do is a Gaza rant today. What we're going to do, we're going to have a Gaza rant to see what our UK has done for all of us. So I understand that the UK is actually selling off all its gold reserves now to the USA. And so they're selling everything, the kitchen sink and everything, instead of doing what I said the other day. With the last two videos you've seen that if you cut two services, so you just cut all the money being spent on illegal immigration, which is 12 billion next year according to Hansard in the House of Commons, and you cut all net zero spending to zero, so zero net zero spending, which only started 10 years ago and was only put in law by Theresa May. So before then we weren't spending all this money. You would save 325 billion per year, and you could either cut all the council tax for everybody in the UK or invest that into 300 new hospitals, fully staffed with all the pensions, everything. Or you could reinvest it into the military and make we could kick some arse again. But no, they're selling all the family jewels to America. And after COVID, they put us 400 billion extra into debt in COVID, and now the little man like me and you is having to pay for it all. And that's how it's been. Successive governments, the last 2 or 3 governments have spaffed all our money up the wall. And this Labour government is no different. It's a tax and spend. It's in fact worse. And if you think about it, the very thing that keeps you alive and me alive is farming. So everybody in the UK has to eat 3 times a day. And all it costs is £2.7 billion. That is all. It is nothing when you think that they spend 12 billion in 25 to 26 on illegal immigration. That'll be for 50,000 people. 12 billion is going to be spent. So there you can see what it's like. These people in charge are mad. They are lunatics. They're selling the family silver instead of cutting back on what they're spending. That's what's going on. They're just spaffing it away into thin air. And successive governments have done it. And it needs a good clear out. I spent 2 hours the other night and I managed to save more money than everybody than they take in income tax, in council tax, in the whole of the UK, and save 38 billion? I can't quite remember. So in 10 years that was a saving, 338 billion. That was just from 2 things. 2 things. If I went through the rest of it, you could make billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of savings. And the people in society would still be exactly the same as they are, because you'd have a different funding model where Westminster would give councils money according to the amount of people they had living there. And so our councils wouldn't have to spend on nonsense, it'd be spent on us. But they don't want it because that removes the power off them, off the councils. So, boy. So anyway, them last 2 videos I put up where I explained it, about removing council tax altogether. They had warnings on them and basically they didn't get any traction. I think we all know why, because they were right. That is a fact of it. Now, COVID was roughly 5 years ago, I think, a couple of weeks back. And most of us with any sanity realised after a couple of months that it was ridiculous, where you had to wear a mask while you were sitting down, but when you stood up, you didn't have to wear a mask. You went into a restaurant and you wore a mask sitting down at the table, but you could take the mask off to eat. We had people queuing up and walking on the other, in my little town they had you walking on the other side of the street in the open air and queuing outside a bank with 2 meters between you with a mask on. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever been a part of. And then my country of Wales, that's when it's turned psychopathic then, when Drakeford was in charge. He was stopping people coming into Wales. No authority whatsoever, they banned people coming from Wales. And then when you went to a supermarket, you weren't allowed to buy clothes, underpants or socks. This is how mad our country went, and is still so mad. Then they want to stop you driving no more than 20 miles an hour. It's constant surveillance, constant fucking surveillance of the person. They want to grind us all down. They want to take every last bit of any fight we have out of us. Now, don't be like that. Don't give in to this stuff. That is all I can say. Lots of my mates now, they spend, when I go out for a drink, which I've only been out to watch the rugby. It's quite rare for me to go out so much as I had about a month ago. Because I really drink a lot. So my mates are all spending on a card now when they go to a pub. I point blank refuse. I know it's hard. It was actually hard for me to get cash the last times I went out in my local town because the cash machines, most of them were broken down. And I went into the local mace, or not a mace, like a supermarket, and ended up coming out with £13, £20 note and £13 in pound coins. So they're trying to push you to cash out of us. But I refuse to bow to it. I damn refuse to it. And I suggest everybody on here does. And I'd be grateful if you go back and have a look at them videos I did last of all, because they're not showing them, but they are properly spent and worked out. It is real. You can remove the council tax off everybody in the UK by saving on two things. Removing immigration spending back to what it was years ago, which was less than £1 billion, and net zero, removing that altogether and all the shambolic stuff with it that never existed before 10 years ago. And we'd be, like I said, after 10 years, 338 billion in pocket and not paying any council tax. So there we are. I haven't swore a lot, and I'm in a better mood today. Grass is growing a bit, and there we are. Please subscribe and share, helps me out a lot, because the last month I think it's only been 100 subscribers, and the month before I had over 3,500. So they put the stoppers on me again. But we're going to get to that 15,000, guaranteed. So this is only a year ago I started doing these videos around this time, and we've gone from 2,500 to nearly 15,000. We're getting the message out there. Don't give in to these people. Fight back. That's what I say. All the best, Gaz, and power to the people.